Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Hello and welcome to this very special and unique summit, Rahul Shah's Lazy Millionaire. I'm Rahul Goyal, the CEO of Equity Master and the host for today. The man of the moment and also my namesake, Rahul Shah, will be joining me shortly. And he is about to reveal his every last secret that you can use to build a millionaire stock portfolio that could potentially double your money in 4 years and could potentially multiply your wealth more than 4 times in less than 8 years without taking any unnecessary risks. I'm talking about potentially transforming a tiny seed investment of 15 lakh rupees into a whopping 65.55 lakh rupees and walking away with a big fat gain of over 50 lakh rupees in less than 8 years. Let me tell you, these are no empty claims or imaginary numbers I'm pulling out of thin air. These numbers are based on Rahul Shah's actual recommendations. Yes, he has actually done it. He has been consistently beating benchmark indices by a wide margin over the long term. Let's take a quick look at some stocks Rahul recommended. An investment of just 50,000 rupees in this stock, when Rahul recommended it, would have turned into over 1,17,000 rupees in just 5 months. Let's look at another one. A 50,000 rupee investment in this stock would have turned into over 85,000 rupees in just 7 months. Here's another one. 50,000 rupees in this one would have turned into over 1,87,000 rupees in just 11 months. An investment of 50,000 rupees in this stock would have turned into over 92,000 rupees in just 6 months. And of course, Rahul Shah's biggest winner till date, that would have turned your 50,000 rupees into 3,22,549 rupees in just 11 months. Well, these are all very impressive returns, but let's not get swayed by them. If I was you, I would say don't show me just a few of your winners. Show me the whole thing, the complete picture. My question would be, what could you have achieved if you had followed every single recommendation made by Rahul Shah? The answer is right here. Since inception, Rahul Shah has enjoyed a success rate of 79% in his Microcap Millionaires stock recommendation service, which means that nearly 8 of every 10 recommendations have been closed successfully. That's not all. This service has reported an absolute gain of 337% in less than 8 years. That's an annual compounding rate of 21%. At this rate, one's portfolio more than doubles every 4 years and quadruples in just a little over 7 years. During the same period, the Sensex grew at a slower rate of 200.5%. So by following Rahul Shah's strategy, his subscribers not only had the chance to beat the benchmark index by 136.5% over nearly 8 years, but they could have done it effortlessly and with much lower risk. So, it is no surprise that thousands of our subscribers happily pay lakhs of rupees year after year to access Rahul Shah's money multiplying stock recommendations. Here's what some of his ardent followers say. I'm a long-time member with Equity Master and recently have renewed my microcap millionaires 2 months back. I'm pleased to say that I have multiplied my money from MCM, that's Microcap Millionaires. That's Bimal Sood from Pune. Let me congratulate on the success of Microcap Millionaire service. I am very much satisfied with the service and by the performance of the stocks in the portfolio. That's Priyank Upadhyay from Mumbai. But what we have today is bigger than anything Rahul Shah has done ever before. Because you could start benefiting from the lazy millionaire the moment you start. I can assure you that you will never look at the markets the same way ever again. The way you pick stocks, the way you build your portfolio, and the way you make money in the markets will change radically and immediately. That's my guarantee. In fact, you will start noticing the benefits instantly. And these benefits will grow and multiply as you progress in your journey with Rahul Shah. Now, coming to today's summit, there's good news and bad news. Let's start with the good news. So, good news number one. What Rahul is about to reveal today is for anyone and everyone. You could be completely new to the markets, or you could have years of experience investing in stocks. It doesn't matter. The only condition is that you must be passionate about beating the markets over the long term and growing your wealth faster than your peers. Good news number two. Like the name Lazy Millionaire suggests, this is one of the laziest, or rather, I would say, one of the simplest, smartest, and easiest ways to build a millionaire portfolio that could potentially multiply your money 4 times in less than 8 years. Growing your money at an average rate of more than 20% year on year. Good news number 3. You don't have to spend years and years learning about the stock markets, reading every book on investing, witnessing multiple bull and bear cycles before you're competent enough to make market-beating returns. The best thing about Rahul Shah's Lazy Millionaire is you can start building your millionaire portfolio immediately, using all the techniques, steps, and tools that Rahul Shah provides you. And like I said, I guarantee that you'll start witnessing a big change in the way you invest almost instantly. Now, the bad news. And I need you to pay attention, special attention to this. One thing that Rahul Shah said made me uncomfortable initially. And the reason is he strongly believes that this is the only program that people will ever need to achieve their financial freedom. In fact, he even went on to say that people who join him on this journey with Lazy Millionaire will no longer need any of his recommendation services. Because with his training and mentoring, you will be able to identify those kind of stock opportunities yourself. You will be able to implement all of Rahul's techniques and strategies to potentially build and manage a millionaire portfolio, all on your own. Because he is going to reveal it all without withholding any secret or any technique whatsoever. In fact, from what I know, Rahul Shah is going to be so specific, he'll even tell you which day of the year you can spend a few hours and plan your investment moves. Once you execute his strategy, you could simply sit back and relax. You need not even monitor stock prices day in and day out. You could forget about the markets for months at end. The secret master key that he will share with you in great detail will guide you at every single step. When markets go up, when markets go down, you will know exactly what to do, what to buy, how much to buy, when to sell, when to book gains, how much to invest in a single stock, and most importantly, how to turn irrationality and extreme market moves to your advantage. In short, he is going to literally hand over his secret master key to build a millionaire portfolio, potentially compounding at a market-beating rate of over 20% year after year. Sounds great, right? This may be good news for you, but for us, it seemed like bad news. And I'll be honest, this got me quite worried because what Rahul's about to reveal today is the greatest career risk he has ever taken. Most people in his place would never do it. We had to really think through the risk that Rahul Shah was taking by revealing his every last secret in full detail to all our readers, because that would effectively cannibalize his premium recommendation services and make them nearly redundant to thousands of our readers. And that could potentially dent a big hole in our business, as thousands of people would stop paying us lakhs of rupees annually to subscribe to Rahul Shah's recommendation services, some of which cost as much as 1,50,000 rupees and 1 lakh rupees per service per year. So I confronted Rahul Shah and asked him what was driving him to take such a radical step that could potentially hurt him and our overall business. When he joins me in a minute, I'm going to ask him some very tough questions. So be ready to witness an explosive debate full of gems and insights about how to build a millionaire portfolio, accelerating at more than 20% year after year. I want you to see for yourself what he envisions, what he has developed, and then you can decide if you want to side with me or with Rahul Shah. The choice will be yours. So without any further ado, let's welcome Rahul Shah to this very unique summit, Lazy Millionaire. Hi Rahul, thank you for joining me.
Thanks a lot. I'm glad to be here.
Wonderful. I don't think Rahul Shah needs any introduction. He is widely known to lakhs of our readers, 17.6 lakh registered members to be precise, across 72 countries around the world. He enjoys the patronage of thousands of very ardent followers who enthusiastically wait for his every stock recommendation and his regular market calls. His loyal subscribers have had the opportunity to compound their wealth at market-beating rates over the last several years. But I also do know that today, thousands of new readers are also joining us for this special summit. So before we begin, I want to quickly introduce Rahul Shah to them. Many of you know him already. He is the co-head of research at Equity Master. He is the brain behind some of our most successful and market-beating research products. If you know Rahul Shah, you already know that every time he comes up with a big idea, it has the potential to accelerate your wealth creation journey. The kind of returns that would typically take you long years and sometimes decades. Rahul's strategies have the power to turn time faster and get you to the big gains very fast and with relative safety. Remember, I just showed you how Rahul Shah was able to transform a mere investment of 15 lakh rupees into over 65 lakh rupees in less than 8 years in his Microcap Millionaires stock recommendation service. But this is not the only time Rahul Shah delivered top-notch performance. Rahul Shah delivered 73.4% gains in just 3 years since inception in his Exponential Profits stock recommendation service, turning a 10 lakh investment to 17.3 lakhs in just 3 years. In this service too, he managed to deliver compounded annual returns of 20%, again beating the Sensex by a wide margin. And let me tell you, These market-beating compounded returns of 20% came without any significant risk and being in almost 50% cash all the time. What more, Rahul Shah had the biggest winning streak of his career from February 2020, that's a month before the pandemic hit, to October 2021, a period when he closed 24 winning stock recommendations. Yes, not a single recommendation closed at a loss. Just take a look at a few positions Rahul closed successfully in his Exponential Profits stock recommendation service. Stock number 1 generated over 167% returns in just 5 months. Stock number 2, over 132% returns in around 4 months. Stock number 3, more than doubled in less than 10 months. Stock number 4 too, more than doubled in just 1 year and 2 months. And stock number 5 generated nearly 82% in less than 4 months. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. If you still think Rahul Shah may have gotten lucky twice, then let me tell you there's more. In his double income stock recommendation service too, which started just a couple of years ago, he's again building an enviable track record. As of October 2021, when the service completed 2 years, he had closed 10 stock positions, all of them successful. And here's the most amazing thing. The average gains on these successful recommendations was 76%. Yes, and that too with an average holding period of just about 1 year. In this service too, Rahul has delivered a rock-solid internal rate of return of 26%. I barely know any research analyst in India who can boast of such a market-beating track record over several years, across market cycles, across various stock recommendation services. But today, what Rahul Shah is here to share with us is bigger than anything he has done ever before. So Rahul, we are all very eager to discover what you are about to reveal. Tell us why you are taking the biggest risk of your career and giving away 15 years of your research work and experience today.
Rahul, I know where you're coming from. I know people who are very guarded about their success secrets. They would never let anyone decode their black box. But I'd do all my gurus and mentors a big disservice if I didn't pass on their knowledge to sincere seekers. After all, everything that I know today, everything that I've learned about the markets, and the reason I have been able to produce market-beating track records is because of the kindness of people who were not afraid to give away the knowledge and secrets. So I don't see it as a career risk.
I totally understand your feeling. But there are thousands of people who happily pay lakhs of rupees every year to access your stock recommendations. So when you came up with the idea of Lazy Millionaire, where you're planning to give away every single secret and technique that you've mastered over the last 15 years, it almost sounds like a death knell for your recommendation services. If people get all your secrets, and if they're able to pick the same stocks that you do, I'm not sure they'd want to pay lakhs of rupees in subscription fees to access your recommendations. That's a practical business risk I'm talking about. Have you thought about that?
So here's how I see the big picture, Rahul. India is witnessing the greatest and the most unprecedented financial revolution ever. Millions and millions of Indians are making a beeline to grab a pie of the wealth creation journey in the Indian stock markets. Years and decades from now, when we look back, we'll remember this period as the historic shift in the way Indians save and invest. And I'm very happy and proud to be a part of this movement and to help regular investors build long-lasting wealth for themselves and their families. But here's what we must not forget. The game of investing is getting more and more competitive. A very large majority of new investors have little to no understanding of the markets. Do they really have a long-term wealth creation map? Are their portfolios ready to ride bull cycles and endure bear cycles too? These questions trouble me. because I know they are not prepared to face prolonged deep bear markets or feel the pain of big losses on their investments. And I'm afraid that tomorrow, God forbid, if we were to be hit by a ruthless bear market, many of these investors will get severely wounded, and some of them may pledge never to return to the markets again. And that would be so unfortunate. Because having been in the market so long, having seen multiple bull and bear markets, I can ride the swings in the market to my advantage. In fact, I love the markets because of this very nature. The extremes of greed and fear throw up opportunities to make mind-boggling gains. I don't know of any other field where you can do this sitting in your living room. So as a believer and advocate of investing in the stock markets, I know I can help thousands, if not millions of people to make market-beating returns. Because I know my approach is simple and easily actionable by anyone who can understand basic English. And I don't want to be remembered as someone who kept secrets and deprived lakhs of Indians from one of the easiest, safest, and proven approaches to building a millionaire portfolio that keeps accelerating faster than most others.
That's interesting. And from what I know, your approach can be easily mastered by anyone, whether he is a new investor or already a savvy market participant. Now, I want to ask you something. There could be many potential Rahul Shahs out there who are either at the start or the middle of the journey in their markets. And I think they could learn a lot from your own journey. So my question to you is, how did your journey in the stock market start? And if you were to start today, what would you have done differently?
That's a good place to start. I'm happy to share my story. Many people who have only met Rahul Shah, the research analyst, often think I am a nerd who just reads and reads and reads, who grew up reading and studying about the markets. They place me on a pedestal, and I think because I'm an engineer and because I did my MBA in finance from one of the top B schools of the country, they think I'm different and that what I did cannot be replicated by others. I want to debunk that notion completely today because as I tell you my story, you will see that I was just a regular kid from a small town in Maharashtra with no ambitions of making it big in the stock markets.
That's very surprising because you look like the kind of a person who's very focused and objective and analytical, like someone who may have been very studious and sincere with lots of books in his library. If you don't mind, tell me a little about the time when you were a kid.
Sure, Rahul. So I was born in a middle-class Gujarati family in Aurangabad in the late 70s. Now, Aurangabad was a sleepy small town then. One of my earliest memories is of moving to a new home that my father had bought. I was about 5 years old then. And until then, we lived in a modest rented apartment with my parents and 2 siblings.
If I may ask, what did your father do for a living?
So back in the 80s and 90s, my father ran a wholesale and retail dealership for Castrol. And pretty early in his career, he also started dabbling in the stock markets.
Wow, that's intriguing. Do you remember any of the stocks that he owned?
Oh yes. I remember him applying for the IPO of HDFC Bank in 1995. I was about 17 then. And I remember he was very happy when he got allotted the shares.
Amazing. And what did he do with those shares?
He never sold them. Unfortunately, I lost my dad some years ago, but we still have those HDFC Bank shares. In fact, we still have shares of SBI, Nestle, Reliance Industries, stocks that he bought in the 90s.
Rahul, I'm sorry if this gets very personal. You're free to refuse to answer if you're uncomfortable. But it's incredible. You still own those shares that your father bought in the 90s. It must have become a fortune by now. Or am I wrong?
No, it's not that big a fortune. The initial investments have obviously multiplied many times over in the last 25 to 30 years. And we're happy to keep reaping the dividends.
So I'm just curious to know, did he have any specific approach to investing? Because he seems to have picked some of the best blue chips and he had the foresight to hold them for a very long time.
As far as I saw, he didn't follow any discipline or approach to investing. He mostly followed the advice of friends and brokers. I must admit here that I mentioned only his winners. He did make a bunch of big mistakes too by investing in dud companies and holding on to them for too long. but that doesn't make for a good storytelling, so I'll skip that part of the story. On a serious note, I feel that if he had the right guidance and the right investing approach, he could have accumulated wealth beyond his wildest imaginations.
Now that's very interesting, what you just said. I have felt exactly that for my father. If only he had the right guidance and approach. What a difference that would have made. I can't even imagine. Because our fathers were probably among the earliest folks to enter the game of investing in our country, they had the first mover advantage. They were in their 20s and 30s. They had the chance to ride some of the most life-changing bull markets in India. I'm not at all passing a judgment on their journey or saying they didn't do well. They certainly did well, given the means and knowledge and resources they had access to. But I'm just wondering what could have happened if they saw what was unfolding before them, and how differently would they have made their investment decisions if they had found the right framework and techniques.
I totally resonate with your feeling. I have felt this very strongly too. And that has been one of the key drivers behind Lazy Millionaire. In a way, it's a tribute to my father. And it's dedicated to all the fathers and mothers striving to build wealth for their families.
That's a beautiful thought, Rahul. And I'm happy to support you in taking the immense benefits of Lazy Millionaire to as many families as possible. That's a promise. I'm curious to know how you started your journey in the markets. Do you see any early events in your childhood or teenage that may have been catalysts in your investing journey? Did your dad's investments have any influence in your interest in the stock markets?
So Rahul, to be very honest, I was just an ordinary kid from a middle-class Indian family with modest ambitions. I wasn't the studious nerd that people make me out to be. I was anything but that. I hated reading. I hated studying. And like every other kid around me, I loved sports. I loved to go out and play with my friends. Even as a teenager, I was just breezing through life without much thought about what I would do when I grow up. Yes, I remember my dad investing in the markets, but I only saw it from a distance without much interest or involvement, except occasionally depositing dividend checks in the bank. That's all.
Rahul, I know you don't like to brag about yourself. You're being very modest. Okay, tell me this. You studied chemical engineering and then you did your MBA in finance from one of the highly renowned B schools in India. It does seem like you knew what you were doing, or am I wrong?
Rahul, the kind of education system we have in India, kids have very limited exposure to the real world. So the capacity to make informed academic choices is limited. I'm sure things are changing now, but when I was growing up, I had to pick between arts, commerce, and science. And people who chose science mostly picked between medicine and engineering. So that's how I landed up in an engineering college. And when I was finishing my engineering, MBA seemed to be in vogue. I heard of MBAs easily picking up hefty pay packages. So I followed the herd and did what everyone else was doing.
So are you saying that till the time you finished your MBA, you really had no clue where you were heading?
I'll be honest, at the risk of sounding stupid, I had no ambition of making it big in the stock markets till I started working. In fact, I would say my real education on the markets and on life in general only started once my academic education ended.
I like the way you put it. That your real education on stock markets actually started when you dipped your feet in the real world. Please tell us more about your early days in the stock markets. Who were your greatest inspirations in the investing world?
So I've had lots of gurus in the investing world, from legendary investor Warren Buffett to renowned fund manager Peter Lynch to the famous hedge fund manager George Soros. I've gained immensely from the work, words, and wisdom of these extraordinary investors. But the one name that towers above them all is Benjamin Graham, the father of investing. And he has been a very huge influence on me. He is my number one guru.
It's interesting to hear that because most people are drawn to the world of investing because of Warren Buffett and the incredible wealth he has built. There are dozens and dozens of books on him and his investment philosophy. I've myself been a big Buffett fan all my life. What drew you to Graham instead?
Now, I don't mean to discredit Buffett in any way. What he's achieved is phenomenal. He is truly a legend. And of course, he's been a very important part of my learning process in the stock markets. And to tell you the truth, I have read Buffett extensively. I have read books and biographies on him. I have read every single letter that he has written to the shareholders since 1965. And I still tune in every time he speaks at every single Berkshire Hathaway annual meeting. No doubt I love him. He is extraordinary. He writes and speaks with so much simplicity and ease. It almost makes you believe you could mimic his success by following his seemingly simple investing style. But anyone who digs deeper will find out it's not all that simple as it looks. For all his charismatic talks, Buffett doesn't tell you the exact techniques and strategies he uses. So he offers you a 30,000 feet view, but once you step into the investing territory, you're pretty much on your own, navigating through the narrow bylanes of the investing world. Moreover, Buffett isn't your regular investor. He is a big shot. He is a prolific businessman with solid connections with the top honchos of business world. The way he can deep dive into a business, a regular investor cannot. Add to that a massive insurance operation that gave him access to a huge inflow of regular funds that he could deploy for the long term. His size and clout gave him unusual bargaining power to strike extremely lucrative investment deals from time to time. So when it came to building a smart investing system that regular, ordinary investors like me could easily follow successfully, I had to look elsewhere.
And that's how Ben Graham came to your rescue?
Well, it wasn't that easy. I kept looking for a very long time. You can't have all your answers on day one. You're obviously aware that Ben Graham's most celebrated work, The Intelligent Investor, it's an investing classic and a must read for every serious investor.
I agree. It is indeed a classic. I've read it too. But to be honest, it was a tough read. I don't know how it would be if I read it today, but when I read it in my 20s, I struggled through it.
I completely agree. I felt that way too. Over the last 2 decades, I have read The Intelligent Investor at least 4 times. And it was only after the 3rd time that I actually started grasping the significance of Graham's teachings. By then, I was so inspired by his work that I went about scouring every single piece he had ever written or spoken. And I accidentally discovered something that completely shook me.
When did this happen?
If my memory serves me well, I think it was 2013. That's when I discovered an obscure interview that Graham had given in 1976. And let me tell you, that was also the year he passed away. So imagine a person on his deathbed, and this was no ordinary man. This was the first man who pioneered a systematic approach to investing that transformed a field of speculation and gambling into a sophisticated discipline. And in 1976, this dying man had 60 odd years of experience in the stock market. And in those 60 years, he had trained and mentored students who went on to become immensely successful investors. So it was very interesting for me to see what this man had to say at the end of his life journey.
There's an old saying that goes something like this: dying men speak truth.
Yes, absolutely. Dying men have nothing to prove and nothing to hide. There is no shame in speaking the truth. In that one interview, Graham did just that. Till his very end, he remained brutally honest and candid and called a spade a spade.
Wow, that's inspiring. I can't wait to hear what he said in the last interview.
Till the very end, he maintained his cynicism of Wall Street, which according to him often turned into a madhouse. He remained skeptical of brokers and advisors and even research analysts. At first, that hit me hard because that put a question mark on my competence, on whether my research could do any good at all, leave aside beating the market. But if you pay attention, you will understand where his skepticism emerged from. His biggest contention was that analysts tended to overestimate their ability to make big predictions. For instance, where the economy is headed, how stock prices will move, which sector will outperform. In Graham's experience, these were extremely complex phenomena. And anyone who claims to know exactly what is going on and what is going to happen is either a fool or is trying to fool others.
That's a very radical perspective. What do you make of what Graham said?
Like I said, at first it hit me hard. It's like your guru telling you, hey, don't take yourself too seriously. Your attempts at making sense of the economy and the market are all futile. But he was even more skeptical of big institutions and fund managers. But he was even more skeptical that the average institutional fund manager cannot perform better than the benchmark indices.
Truth be told, Graham hasn't really been off the mark.
Exactly. Barring exceptions like Warren Buffett and some other famous names, most fund managers across the globe have done poorly. There may have been periodic successes here and there, but not many have been able to even match the benchmark indices, leave aside beating them. So it's hardly surprising that index investing has grown by leaps and bounds in the US and other developed markets, and it's picking up in India too.
So Rahul, I have an important question for you here. Given what you just said, would it be appropriate to say that the best approach for the average individual investor is to simply buy the index, buy the Sensex, buy the Nifty, and just forget about it? What say?
Index investing certainly makes sense. Take a look at this table. It shows Sensex returns over different time periods. You can see that returns over different time periods range from 10% to 15%. That's not bad at all. All you had to do was invest in the benchmark index, and you would have made better returns than fixed deposits. If you want to play it safe, if you are satisfied with the average market returns, I think index investing could be your primary approach. But here's something very important, and I want everyone watching me today to pay attention to what I'm about to reveal, because this literally changed my life and the way I thought about how average individual investors could be the biggest winners in the stock market. And this has to do with the last part of Graham's final interview. The interviewer must have thought, here is a cynical old man. He's critical of Wall Street. He's skeptical of brokers, advisors, and analysts. And he thinks big institutional fund managers cannot do better than the index. So what would he say for the average investor? The interviewer obviously didn't expect any good news. And that's where Ben Graham, the man who had studied and invested in the markets for over half a century, the man who pioneered the whole idea of fundamentals-based investing, this dying man had good news for the average individual investor.
Really? I can't wait to hear. I'm all ears. Please enlighten us.
Graham was convinced that the typical investor had a great advantage over large institutions. Now, if you go out and walk in the streets of Mumbai and tell people they can do better than the big fancy funds and institutions, they think you are an idiot. They'll laugh at you. They'll mock you. Because they are so deeply conditioned to believe that they are too ordinary. And it is the high-profile IITians and IIM elites wearing suits and boots who know it all, who have the knowledge and skills and connections to know better than the average middle-class Indian.
Sorry to interrupt you, Rahul, but I know exactly what you're talking about. I think most Indian kids grow up with the fear of numbers. They think anything that involves numbers, anything that involves math is too complex, and that it is best left to the brilliance of the IITians and the IIM elites. That is why big funds and institutions having fancy offices in glass-walled buildings command so much awe and respect.
Absolutely, Rahul. To be honest, I was that kid you're talking about. And I even went through the rut doing my engineering and MBA, aspiring to work in fancy offices with high-profile people talking jargons. I even got myself a job in a Swiss investment bank. But very soon I was disillusioned, and I left the club of elites, where the sole purpose was to make extremely rich people even richer. Now, I'm not saying it's bad to do that, but I felt that I could have had a much bigger impact on the lives of ordinary Indians if I focused on how to empower the average individual investor.
To all the people witnessing this summit, I'd like to share some trivia here. If Rahul Shah hadn't renounced the big, fancy world of investment banking, we wouldn't have had him lead our research effort and build some of the most successful stock recommendation services. Sorry for this digression, Rahul. You were talking about how Graham believed that the average investor had a big advantage over big institutions. Please continue.
Thanks, Rahul. I was saying, why would a man like Graham make such a big claim? Remember, this was the man who pioneered fundamentals-based investing. This man was the guru of legendary investor Warren Buffett. This man who was about to die, he had nothing to sell, he had nothing to prove to anyone. Why would he say such a thing if it didn't make sense and if he didn't have proof? He was not just saying that the typical individual investor could do very well for himself in the stock market. He made an even bigger claim and said that the average investor had a great advantage over large institutions. Now, if you seriously consider the implications of what he was saying, it could instantly change the way you invest, or at least force you to think differently.
Rahul, if I may ask, why? Why did Graham so strongly believe that the average investor had a great advantage over large institutions?
You see, large institutions and funds, because of their sheer size, have a relatively small pool of stocks to choose from. In the Indian markets, it would be just a couple hundred stocks, and even there, a major chunk of their corpus would be invested with a very limited number of companies. So the big guys have to concentrate their research on a limited, overanalyzed group. There are thousands of stocks that they are not able to touch because they are too small and illiquid for them. Moreover, because of the way the industry works, there's immense pressure on fund managers to focus on short-term results.
You're right. To save their jobs, they end up mimicking each other, and that hurts their long-term performance.
This turns out to be the greatest advantage for the individual investor. You have no one constantly monitoring and rating your performance and expecting instant results. You have thousands of companies to pick from. From this large pool, if you are even able to spot a handful of opportunities, say 20 or 30 attractive opportunities, you will be on your way to beating the markets.
When you put it that way, it makes complete sense. But the big question that arises in my mind is, how does one do that? It's great that you have a massive pool of thousands of listed companies and you can pick the very best from them. You can pick the ones that the institutions cannot even touch until they get much bigger. But how do you do it? How do you identify those opportunities? The average investor is not a full-time investor. He or she doesn't have a degree or a master's in finance or business analytics. The regular investor probably has a job or a business and a family to look after. How would he do it with the limited time and skill? In my view, that's the million-dollar question. What do you have to say about that?
I'm glad you asked that, and I'm happy to tell you that my entire purpose of developing Lazy Millionaire was just that. So that anyone who's passionate about beating the markets could implement my system almost immediately. Now, before Graham died, he left behind the blueprint of his system with some very solid clues. And because I had studied him very closely for a long time, I was able to decode the blueprint and translate into an easily actionable system.
This is getting more and more interesting. I know that anyone who joins Lazy Millionaire today gets the whole system, the entire master key in full detail. I'm curious to know more about Lazy Millionaire. What is the crux of your approach?
My approach combines three basic rules of Ben Graham. The buying logic. This is simple. When you buy stocks, you must act consistently as an investor and not a speculator. Number two, clear selling policy. Many investors jump into stocks without a definite selling policy, but it's very important that you have a clear exit strategy in place right at the time when you buy stocks. Number three, balancing between stocks and bonds. This is another unique Ben Graham rule. When I read it first, I didn't realize how essential this rule was until I saw the amazing benefits of it firsthand. And I realized how deeply Graham had thought about building a system that would help individual investors navigate successfully across bull and bear market cycles.
Sounds good. And you are saying that anyone who joins Lazy Millionaire can easily use this approach to build a potentially market-beating portfolio?
Yes, Rahul. From the very go, I was very clear that an investing approach that individual investors can follow should fulfill the following three criteria: sound logical framework, simplicity of application, and good performance record. The third one is the most important aspect. However good and logical an investing approach is, and how much ever simple and easy it is to apply, what ultimately matters is paisa bana ya nahi. Did the system make money for you? And this is where Graham's final approach that he outlined in 1976 aced it. The results of his new system were so extraordinary that he did not even shy away from rejecting some of his early and immensely popular ideas. If you had applied this system between 1925 and 1975, a long 50-year period, you would have seen an extraordinarily good performance with very minimal effort. You would have beaten the Dow Jones index by 2 times.
Wow, that's mind-blowing. All of this is very impressive, no doubt about it. I love the fact that Graham happily gave away his master key to investing before he died. But this was 1976, the 20th century. It has been more than 4 decades since Graham passed away. The world has changed, the business landscape has changed, the investing landscape has changed. How can you be sure this approach works well in the 21st century too?
That's a very valid question. And when I came across Graham's master key, I had this exact question. Will it work in the 21st century? Will it work for Indian investors? So I tested it myself when I launched Microcap Millionaires in 2014. And the result is for everyone to see. Over nearly 8 years, my system has delivered absolute gains of 337%, beating the Sensex by almost 137%. This is because my system has the potential to double your money faster. At an annual compounding rate of 21%, my system could potentially double your money in less than 4 years. That's not all. I launched another stock recommendation service called Exponential Profits in 2018. In this service too, I have managed to deliver compounded annual returns of 20%.
That's much higher than the typical market return of about 15%, where your money doubles every 5 years.
Yes, over a considerably long period, the effect of accelerated money doubling is mind-boggling. Just think about it. If your money is growing at an annual rate of 10%, it takes 7 years to double your money. At 5% rate of return, which is close to the current rate of return on fixed deposit, it takes your money nearly 15 years to double. So the moment you truly understand the power of compounding, you will be very careful about how you're making your money work.
Wow, that's amazing. But just to be sure, I need to know if this extraordinary success comes from highly risky bets or any kind of leverage. I know Graham's approach is very conservative, but the numbers are so good, I just want to be sure.
Rahul, you will be surprised to know that this track record has come with very minimal risk and zero leverage. In fact, my system is never 100% into equities. There's always a portion allocated to fixed deposits depending on market conditions. As a result, when markets turn bearish, I'm not badly hurt too. For instance, amid the COVID-19 market crash of March 2020, my Microcap Millionaire service was not only relatively unhurt, but I was able to take full advantage of the steep fall to go bargain hunting. Here's an excerpt from my March 2020 issue of Microcap Millionaires. Our large cash component has helped us avoid a large part of the market mayhem. While the Sensex has fallen 23.5% over the last month, our MCM corpus value has fallen just 9.5%. To add to that, the fact that we are sitting on such a large cash component means we can begin picking stocks over the next few months at the much lower and thus much more attractive prices they are now available at. Keeping a large part of our gunpowder dry has worked out very well for us.
So you are saying that when the markets fall, your losses are relatively smaller, but at the same time, on the upside, you've managed to outperform the markets by a wide margin? This seems incredible. If I hadn't known you and if I hadn't personally scrutinized your track record, I would have imagined you to be some kind of a thug or a charlatan making insane claims. What is the secret ingredient in Lazy Millionaire that makes it so relevant and useful even now?
Ben Graham was a true visionary and long-term thinker. He knew that everything would change over time. The economic landscape would change. The big investing themes of today will be replaced by the next big themes of tomorrow. Today's market darlings would be superseded by the disruptors and innovators of tomorrow. Some strategies would work today, and tomorrow they may stop working. He was like the Buddha of the investing world, and he knew everything would change, and that everything was uncertain except one thing. And that one thing is human nature, and the fact that humans are emotional creatures. You could be an American, or you could be an Indian. You could be rich, you could be poor. You could be a fund manager or just an average investor. But emotions will be emotions. Greed and fear have no nationality, geography, or religion. They are universal. Graham believed that human emotions of hope, fear, and greed often resulted in irrational and excessive stock price fluctuations in both directions. If you build an investing approach that revolves around this fundamental truth, instead of joining the madness of the crowd, if you take advantage of it, then you're part of a tiny minority that handily beats the markets year after year, and that too without any extraordinary effort. This is why in his last interview, Graham said that he was no longer an advocate of elaborate techniques of stock picking in order to find superior value opportunities. He proposed a highly simplified approach that focused not on individual stocks but on the performance of the overall portfolio.
This has been quite an eye-opener, Rahul. You have such a solid approach. It comes as no surprise that your work has guided thousands of our subscribers multiply their wealth manifold. So I am very confident that with Lazy Millionaire, the benefits of your journey will reach many thousands and thousands of people.
Thanks, Rahul. That means a lot to me. It's after years and years of rigorously studying various schools of investing, after experiencing multiple bull and bear markets firsthand, and building a market-beating track record that I can finally say that the seeds I sowed into my learning journey are beginning to bear fruits.
And now you want to share the fruits of your success with everyone, isn't it?
Well, yes, I'm happy to share everything that I have learned and mastered. But my learning journey continues, stronger than ever before. That's the beauty of investing. You can never say you know enough. There's always room for improvement.
That's wonderful. But here's a critical question. Are you saying people who joined you in their journey with the Lazy Millionaire will take years and years to master it?
No, not at all. If anyone has the time and patience to spend years and years learning and mastering the game of investing, they should not be coming to me. For them, I would suggest you go directly to the sources of knowledge. There are hundreds and hundreds of books and courses out there. Go read Buffett, Graham, Munger, Lynch, Damodaran, and every single name out there. I'm confident that anyone who has the time, patience, and energy to do that will emerge successful.
Then what is Lazy Millionaire all about? Who should be joining it?
As the name suggests, I have conceived Lazy Millionaire for people who want to accelerate their investing journey and return potential instantly. In Lazy Millionaire, I have condensed the essence of successful investing that I have mastered over the last 15 years, and I am presenting a practical step-by-step program that you can instantly implement. With Lazy Millionaire, you can leverage on my learnings, experience, and success in the stock market and boost your investing journey instantly. I'm going to reveal every last secret that has helped me consistently beat the markets by a wide margin over the long term. And anyone who joins Lazy Millionaire will begin to see the benefits of this program accrue almost immediately. It will change the way you invest and make your life super easy. If someone had handed these secrets 15 years ago, I would have grabbed them with both hands, and it would have saved me years and years of struggle and trial and error.
Rahul, this has been one of the most inspiring conversations I've had with you. I'm sure everyone watching you today is excited to know more about Lazy Millionaire and how they can instantly kickstart building their millionaire portfolio. Introducing Rahul Shah's Lazy Millionaire. We put everything outlined here today, plus a lot more, into a brand new training program. It's called Rahul Shah's Lazy Millionaire. The goal behind this training program, other than to empower you with one of the simplest, easiest, and most powerful tools to build your own millionaire portfolio, is to make sure you make market-beating returns without compromising the safety of your hard-earned money. Stock market corrections and recessions are inevitable and painful, but this training program will change how you perceive corrections and crashes. In fact, you will master the art of turning every market crash to your advantage. You will know exactly which stocks to buy, when to buy them, how much of your capital to allocate to them, and when to sell them. Rahul Shah's system is so easy and simple to implement that you don't have to struggle daily to guess where the markets are headed and what to buy and what to sell. His training program is based on a time-tested system that is known to have produced exceptional market-beating results over long periods of time. So, for the rest of your investing life, you won't care nearly as much if the markets went up or down on any given day, week, or month. In fact, you will find yourself even welcoming downturns because you will know it presents you with great buying opportunities. And in heady bull markets, you will know how to lock in your gains before the party is over. With Rahul Shah's Lazy Millionaire, you will learn to build a portfolio that has the potential to easily outperform the markets and your peers without taking unnecessary risks that could jeopardize your financial well-being. Best of all, this training program doesn't require you to go through the tedious approach of excessive number crunching. You don't need an in-depth knowledge of accounts. You will not be required to make complex financial models in Microsoft Excel. No complex mathematics. No need to master business or sector analysis. You don't even need to know about economics. You need zero CNBC, zero newsletters, zero hedge fund managers, zero trading stops, zero options, and zero performance fees. By now, I'm sure you'd be wondering if this is real, if it's indeed possible to make market-beating returns without mastering mathematics, accounts, and economics. The good news is that's absolutely true. And Rahul Shah's impeccable track record is testimony to the fact. But we know that despite all the evidence that we've put forth today, most people watching will find a reason not to pursue this training program. It sounds too good to be true. It's not as exciting. Nobody I know invests this way. Or the most likely reason, I don't understand how it could be this simple. And it's fine with us if you decide not to pursue Rahul Shah's training program that we've been talking about today. But if you're willing to make an investment in your learning and future, you should really ask yourself if you're truly serious about achieving financial freedom. We believe this is one of the best investment approaches that could potentially deliver market-beating gains consistently over the long term with very little effort and very little risk. You don't have to go all in right away. This training program is a low-risk way for you to test this approach for yourself. And once you take the training program, you could try it for yourself with just part of your investment for starters. Now, of course, every investment comes with a risk. But if you look at Rahul Shah's success record across his recommendation services, you'll clearly see how he has consistently beaten the market by a wide margin over the long term. Rahul strongly believes the average individual investor has an unbeatable advantage over large investors and funds. And it is this unbeatable advantage that has helped Rahul Shah transform a mere investment of 15 lakh rupees into 66 lakh rupees in less than 8 years in his Microcap Millionaires stock recommendation service. That's a gain of more than 50 lakh rupees with a prolific absolute gain of 337%, which is 20% plus compounded annual return. During the same period, the Sensex grew at a slower rate of just 200.5%. So, by following Rahul Shah's strategy, you not only had the chance to beat the benchmark index by 136.5% over 8 years, but you could have done it effortlessly and with much lower risk. But this is not the only time Rahul Shah delivered top-notch performance. With his same unbeatable advantage, Rahul Shah delivered 73.4% gains in just 3 years, that's since inception, in his Exponential Profits stock recommendation service, turning 10 lakh rupees into 17.3 lakh rupees in just 3 years. In this service too, he managed to deliver a compounded return of 20%. And let me tell you, these market-beating compounded returns of 20% came without any significant risk and being in almost 50% cash all the time. What more? Rahul Shah had the biggest winning streak of his career from February 2020 to October 21, a period where he closed 24 winning recommendations. Yes, not a single recommendation closed at a loss. If you still think Rahul Shah may have gotten lucky twice, then let me tell you, there's more. In his double income stock recommendation service too, which started just a couple of years ago, he is again building an enviable track record. As of October 2021, when the service completed 2 years, he had closed 10 stock positions, all of them successful. And here's the most amazing thing. The average gains on these successful recommendations were 76%. Yes, and that too with an average holding period of just about a year. In this service too, Rahul Shah has delivered a rock-solid internal rate of return of 26%. Most investors have a hard time believing that investment outcomes like this are possible for them. But they are. And it all starts by taking the first step. With Lazy Millionaire, Rahul Shah will hand over his every last secret in your hands so that you can enjoy market-beating returns for the rest of your life. Lazy Millionaire is not another stock recommendation service. It's an extraordinary journey, and if you join Rahul Shah on this journey today, you are setting yourself up for financial freedom for the rest of your life. As you master his investing secrets, you will see how easily you can build and manage your own millionaire portfolio that potentially grows and compounds at market-beating rates year after year. If you're familiar with Rahul Shah's work, you'll already know that thousands of our subscribers happily pay lakhs of rupees every year to access his recommendation services. Now imagine having all of Rahul Shah's money-making secrets for the rest of your life. Imagine never having to pay a single rupee for any of his recommendation services. Why pay for his recommendation services when he himself will train you to pick stocks his way? Given the potential loss of revenue for us, we could easily charge lakhs of rupees for Rahul Shah's Lazy Millionaire. After all, this is the only training program you'll ever need to achieve complete financial freedom. As Rahul Shah explained in the beginning, India is witnessing the greatest, the most unprecedented financial revolution ever. We are witnessing the birth of millions of new Indian investors. Years and decades from now, when we look back, we'll remember this period as the historic shift in the way Indians save and invest. Since 1996, when we started, we have championed the cause of the average individual investor. We are very happy and proud to have done our bit to empower regular investors like you to build solid, long-lasting wealth. So while I'm confident that thousands of our readers will happily pay lakhs of rupees to grab Rahul Shah's Lazy Millionaire, it'll be a shame if Rahul Shah's secrets stay restricted to just a few thousand Indians. As proud Indians who are optimistic about India's future, we want to make Rahul Shah's Lazy Millionaire accessible to every serious investor out there. We don't want the price to be a barrier whatsoever, and we'd rather give you the chance to build your own millionaire portfolio using Rahul Shah's secrets. So as part of this special presentation, we are welcoming new members to Lazy Millionaire with an annual fee of just 30,000 rupees. As soon as you sign up, you'll get complete access to Rahul Shah's Lazy Millionaire training program. The Lazy Millionaire training program includes Rahul Shah's secret investing strategies to build a market-beating 4x millionaire portfolio that could potentially double your money every 4 years and quadruple money in less than 8 years. 20 plus videos featuring investing guru Rahul Shah revealing his every last secret that he has mastered over the last 15 years. More than 8 hours of training material that's simple, crisp, and easy to action. Complete text transcripts of every training session so that you can easily refer to all of Rahul's secrets, insights, and practical tips at your own ease, and more. In a nutshell, you will have access to every last secret that Rahul Shah himself uses to deliver market-beating returns through his highly successful stock recommendation services. Rahul was clear from the very beginning that he wanted to develop a training program that people could easily master and execute. So, to aid the training program, Rahul Shah will send you an exclusive newsletter every month. This newsletter will be filled with investing insights and practical tips that could guide you in the process of building your own Forex millionaire portfolio. Besides this newsletter will also be your direct line of access to Rahul Shah. Write him all your questions and doubts, and he'll answer all of them to your satisfaction. But that's not all. There are many more special surprises for you. If you sign up now, you will also get complimentary 12-month access to Rahul Shah's double income stock recommendation service, which is worth 6,000 rupees. Rahul believes this complimentary gift will aid the training process as you'll see him in action, how he picks and recommends stocks. Plus, if you act now, you will also get an exclusive cashback coupon worth 15,000 rupees that you could use to subscribe to any of Rahul's premium recommendation services. Basically, everything that you need and will ever need is all here. Lazy Millionaire is the epitome of everything Rahul's been studying and practicing in the stock markets for the last 15 years. Given the significance of this extraordinary milestone, we are opening the doors this one time for an annual fee of just 30,000 rupees. I think that for any investor, what we are charging for this training program is so unbelievably cheap that I can't imagine anyone would object to it. You have seen the kind of consistent, market-beating returns Rahul Shah has delivered in his various recommendation services over the long run. With his investing secrets, you could potentially build your own market-beating millionaire portfolio that could potentially double your money every 4 years. Imagine what magic that could do to your wealth creation journey. With Rahul Shah's training, even if you're able to spot 1 or 2 or just 3 winners, you could potentially make returns many, many times more than this fee. Imagine what a portfolio of Lazy Millionaire stocks could do. So I strongly believe The fee is inconsequential for anyone who is a serious investor and focused on building long-lasting wealth with minimal risk. And any serious long-term investor who understands the kind of money-making potential secrets he's about to get access to and how Rahul Shah's investing system doesn't just produce returns over 1, 2, and 3 years, but have the potential to consistently compound your wealth over the long periods. He would see that this fee dwarfs in comparison to the long-term return potential that one can easily harness with Lazy Millionaire. But wait, Equity Master started with just 5 employees in 1996, and today we are a large team serving over 17 lakhs, that's 1.7 million users across 72 countries worldwide. It's a huge milestone for us, for a business that had very humble origins. Over the years, we have grown from strength to strength and still going strong after 25 plus years. And it is because of serious leaders like you who have shown your trust in what we do. So, I'm going to make this deal so sweet and irresistible for you that any sensible person who wants to build immense wealth will simply grab this opportunity without a second thought. You see, most people don't have the capacity to really think and plan for the long term. That is why most market participants spend more time staring at their screen and checking stock prices than training to become big winners in the stock markets. And we know from experience that even people who claim to be serious investors often make very short-sighted decisions. So, if you think that's not you, we are happy to let you go. We, at least, hope you take away the learnings from this masterclass. In fact, we'll even send you a free transcript of this summit as a gift, without any conditions or obligations. But if this summit was an eye-opener for you, and if Rahul Shah's biggest career project resonated with you, then I don't want you to miss it at any cost, because the choice that you make today has an impact on the future of your wealth and well-being. What you decide today could have a repercussion for the next 20 years and beyond. A yes today will determine what legacy you leave behind for your children, grandchildren, and the generations that follow. So, only if you're serious and committed to this idea, I'm going to make you an offer that's going to be a complete no-brainer. Here goes. Just pay a one-time fee of 14,950 rupees and have full access to Rahul Shah's Lazy Millionaire for life. Yes, for only a limited period, we're offering this exclusive opportunity to get full lifetime access for a one-time joining fee. This is the only subscription fee you'll ever pay for this training program. Zero renewal fees for years and years, like most of our other research. There's zero maintenance fees, so you can continue to enjoy full access to all of Rahul Shah's training programs and bonus materials for life without paying any additional fees. It's also important you understand that we are unable to offer any cash refunds on this special lifetime offer. You'll get complete access to all of Rahul Shah's investing secrets shortly after signing up. So, it would be too easy for folks to just get investing secrets and ask for all the money back. And that's not fair to everyone else. So we cannot offer you cash refunds. But if at any time in the next 30 days, you're unhappy with Rahul Shah's Lazy Millionaire for any reason, you can get your entire 14,950 rupees back in credit to apply to any of our other research services of your choice. If you're ready to get started with Rahul Shah's Lazy Millionaire, all you need to do is click the button at the bottom of this page. Remember that this exclusive lifetime offer will expire soon. Thereafter, the special lifetime member benefits will disappear forever. Since this one decision has the potential to lift you into a radically higher financial orbit, I don't suggest putting this off. Make a decision now. If you prefer to speak to someone over the phone to place your order, just give a missed call at +91, that's the country code, India country code, 91-360-15013. Our customer services team is standing by and will call you right back. We're expecting a flood of calls and emails, so you might experience a little longer than the usual wait times. But the fastest way to order is to click the button below.